Chapter 2. Trash Can. Stop being a receptacle for toxic people's waste. Chapter 2. Detoxing people from your life. A toxic person will thrive in the space that you make for them. So for a toxic person to thrive in an environment means that they are feeding off some of the traits you carry. They can take advantage of you only when you allow them to do so. Don't be a victim. Instead, look within and start searching for ways and reasons as to what enables them to be toxic to you. Some of these traits include: you're too emotional. You want to keep the people around you happy. You put others' well-being over your own. Being empathetic is one of your strongest values. A toxic person will always take advantage of your empathy to achieve what they desire. They constantly manipulate your emotions to get you to the same place as they are. You constantly feel the need to please everyone around you so they can see your worth. You believe that you are worthy only when you can provide some value to the people around you. You feel the need to agree to everything that people say so that you feel accepted. It's important for you not to place your self worth in the hands of others. Your self worth stems from you, whether someone agrees or not. You always want to be helpful. You can't bear the thought of not being able to help someone you love and admire. You end up taking responsibility for their life. They feel it's convenient to dispose of all their problems upon you, which makes the relationship toxic. As much as you want to help someone, you need to help yourself first. Putting up boundaries for your mental health and struggles is very important. It's good to be helpful, but not at the cost of your mental health. Guide someone through their problems, but never take responsibility for their problems. You're an easygoing person. You hate creating conflicts and arguments. You would rather just do what needs to be done to avoid any disagreements. You're patient with the people around you, and you don't let little things upset you. You accept people for the way they are instead of correcting someone's wrongdoings. One of the ways to avoid toxic people is to speak up. Be verbal about what's going on. Put your foot down and tell them that their behavior is intolerable. It's about being open and honest to them. Understand the underlying meaning of their words and actions. Do not let them get away with manipulating you. Do not get sucked into their reality. They will try to play their version of reality as the truth. Use your judgments to discriminate the truth from their reality. They will try their best to get to your head and change your mindset. It requires you to be emotionally strong and level headed to not be manipulated by them. Most of the time, when you confront such people, they will refuse to believe your side of the story. They are incapable of thinking from an alternative perspective. In such cases, verbally confronting them will not bring you the results you desire. The best way to protect your interests is to step away from them. To step away from such people, there are a few things you could implement, such as: take note of your emotions. Observe how you feel around them. Make a note of the emotions that go through you when you think about them. Do they make you feel unsettled or anxious in any way? Do they bring you happiness or fear? Just observing the way your body and mind react to people can tell you whether they are toxic or not. Toxic people are more likely to make you cower in fear every time you wish to speak up for yourself. As you expose yourself to negative and toxic people, you will constantly feel tired and drained. They will take a toll on your mental and emotional health and well being. Regular check ins with yourself will show you what you truly feel. Whether you're restless or constantly oversleeping, recognize signs that your body is indicating. Prioritize yourself. As much as you would love to help people around you, it's important to help yourself first. You are incapable of quenching someone else's thirst when you barely have any water for yourself. Only when you're able to take care of yourself and look after your own needs is when you can help someone. Prioritizing yourself doesn't always make you selfish. It's about making yourself happy so that you can make others happy as well. When you prioritize what you want, you're setting up a healthy boundary for yourself. Realize your values and prioritize your needs while being there for others. Learn to say no. Toxic people will never allow you the space to say no. Any kind of disagreement will turn into an argument. Eventually, you'll be too scared to refuse them. This is exactly what they want, for you to be afraid of them. You will be too fearful of voicing your opinions. But every time you say yes, you allow them to take advantage of you. It's important to be firm and refuse their unrealistic wants. They will make you do things for their convenience, even at the cost of your needs. Learn to say no every time you strongly feel about something. Learn to place value on your opinions when someone tries to neglect them. Don't try to fix them. Toxic people do not want to be fixed. They are happy with their attitudes towards life. They believe that this is the only way of living. They will constantly make sure that the people around them live the same kind of life. Even if you want to help them, you can't because they refuse to help themselves. Only when someone wants help and wants to make an effort to help themselves is when you can support and give them the aid they require. So, don't believe that you are responsible for them. As much as you love and care for them, toxic and negative is what they choose for themselves. Realize that you cannot do anything about it and move on with your life the way you want. Be firm about your decisions. Every time you make a decision, be sure that you are firm about it. Toxic people cannot accept decisions that do not fit within their negative spectrum. They cannot accept alternative perspectives and opinions. That's why every time you make a decision, they will try everything in their power to influence you to change your direction. Take decisions that make you truly happy on the inside and not what makes your spouse or your parents or society happy. Sometimes the people around us hurt us more than we can imagine. If you pay attention to details, you can recognize certain signs that can help you identify if the person is hurting you. It's better when you can identify these signs early on to avoid any intense danger. Some of the signs are the, re- the relationship you share with the toxic person is one sided. It could be a friendship, a relationship, and you're the only one constantly putting in the effort needed. They will only remember you when they need to. You exist in their life only because they want to take advantage of you. If someone remembers you only during their problem, it's a sign that they are using you for their benefit. They do not value your trust. Betrayal comes to them naturally. The only thing that matters to them is how they can benefit from something. They will not hesitate in betraying you if it comes at the cost of achieving something they desire. This includes giving out private information about you if it could benefit them. Their wants and needs are of utmost importance to them. If hurting you or damaging the relationship doesn't affect them, it's time for you to let them go. They will never care about you the way you want them to. And it's time even you stop caring about toxic people. They refuse to take ownership of their wrongdoings. They believe that everything they do is right. They will never take accountability for their wrong actions and words. Everything that they do will always be right, irrespective of the outcome. They will always blame others for their misfortunes and losses. You will constantly be targeted for making them feel bad or hurt. They will never help you out. Toxic people work for their benefit, and they will always refuse to help you if it doesn't benefit them. They are always selfish about their wants and needs. For example, if you need to talk to someone and just rant about a bad day, they portray themselves to be extremely busy every time. They see no benefit of their own in hearing you out. Removing toxic people from your life is not a one-day job. It takes time and effort to either set your boundaries or to completely cut them off. The most important reason to get rid of toxic people is to have a happy and healthy life. Your emotional and physical well-being will overshadow their negative impact on your life. Initially, it may feel like a loss of a person from your life, but eventually it will bring you the confidence and happiness and glow you need. Sometimes your confidence takes a hit because of the way people treat you. Toxic people will always find ways to put you down and point out your flaws. This will constantly make you feel low about yourself, and you'll lose any confidence that you had. Constant overthinking and doubt starts seeping into you, and eventually that's all you'll feel. Once they are out of your life, you'll feel less burden. There will be fewer problems in your life. You will feel more relieved than before. You won't have anyone adding to your concerns and problems. Toxic people are worth cutting off from your life. There are some definite ways to implement that. Set clear boundaries. Boundaries will show people the respect you have for yourself. When you put yourself on a high pedestal, they can either treat you with the same amount of respect, if not more, or they can afford to lose you. When you stick to your boundaries, you make sure that no toxicity has space to crawl back into your life. Take whatever steps are needed to remove them from your life. If it means to act childish and to block their numbers from calls and text messages, it's okay. There are no rules as to what boundaries to set. Do what makes you feel happy and safe, and that's all that matters. Do not let them break you. Don't give someone the power and control over what and how you feel. When your feelings start to depend on a toxic person, it will break you from the inside. They will always take advantage of your niceness, even after all that you can, even after doing all that you can for them, they still wouldn't be satisfied. Being overly helpful and nice will only cause you to drain out. They thrive on benefiting from others without having to give anything back. Break up and don't look back. and don't take a break. It's important to distance yourself from such people. Once you do that, you'll start being yourself more. You'll feel more happy, healthy, and energetic. You will feel confident and full of love. This kind of energy will attract the toxic people back into your life. When they see someone doing good for themselves, they will try everything in their power to take advantage of it. This doesn't mean you let them crawl back into your life. Just because you have enough love and kindness to give other people so freely doesn't mean that you give it away so to someone who doesn't deserve it. Find people who are worthy of your time, effort, and love. A lot of relationships go through ups and downs, but that doesn't mean you keep having an on and off relationship. This will lead you to have a roller coaster of emotions in the beginning phase. Every time you take a break from a toxic relationship, you will start to feel positive and happy. But when you let your partner back into your life, the same energy will be drained. This is a cycle that can come to an end only when you decide to permanently break it off. If you keep going through this cycle, you will be left feeling drained out constantly. Eventually, you will have no strength to work on yourself again. Learn your lesson. Once you've done, Once you're done with a toxic person, sit and reflect on what went down, what caused the toxic person to behave the way he did. What is it that he did to cause you any kind of mental struggle? Letting go of them is important, but don't let go of the lesson you've learned. Always learn from your past mistakes and don't repeat them. In no way does this mean that you need to hold on to that experience. Forgive them even though they haven't asked for it. Move on so that you can live your life in peace without holding on to a grudge. When you learn these important lessons, make sure you implement them when you move on and encounter new people. These lessons will help you through the next phases and stages of your life. Once you start implementing these techniques, you'll realize that you're just as important as your friends and family. Treat yourself the same way you would treat your partner or your family members. You deserve respect and love that you so freely give to others. You are more than worthy and capable of living your dream life. From a young age, we are taught to be selfless and that prioritizing ourselves will always be considered selfish. We are taught to love and satisfy others, but never ourselves. We have learned that making others happy will bring you happiness. This might be true in some cases. For example, when you feed someone less fortunate, it will bring you a sense of happiness and satisfaction. But in the bigger picture, your happiness stems from within you. To love someone is great, but not at the cost of losing yourself.